Oh,
Hello, how's everyone doing?
beautiful.
Sorry, I was a few minutes late. But it's okay. I was coming from Astor Levy Rec Center. So yeah, it was.
It's a park. I know.
Yeah.
Very good.
So yeah, I was just trying to jog a little bit. I think we got like a relatively new PEP officer as well at
Oh,
Astor
did we?
Levy.
Oh.
So I'm sure Sheena will know. Okay, so we'll just get started here. All right, welcome to the June 3rd, 2025 meeting of Parks, Landmarks, Cultural Affairs Committee. My name is Neil Barclay. I'm the chair of the committee. Tonight, we're joined by Community Coordinator Brian Lafferty. This meeting is called to order at 6:36. As a reminder, New York State law requires all committee members who are not able to attend the meeting in person to have their cameras on and their first and last names displayed from the time the meeting is called to order until the time the meeting is adjourned. Then also there are members of the public who are attending virtually. You know, they can also ask questions through the Q&A feature of Zoom. Has anyone, would anyone like to take minutes? I mean, you know, if you want to. Do you enjoy the process?
This is my walk in life.
Okay, I mean, you know, if you're fine, and we're fine.
Yeah, it's
We
fine.
really appreciate it,
I don't
unless
see
someone,
that anybody else wants to volunteer.
okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Let's see, okay, so thank you so much, Sarah. And we'll now take attendance. Brian Lafferty will conduct the roll call.
Thanks, Neil. When I call your name, will you say present? I'll announce that there is a quorum. Neil Barclay,
Present.
thank you. Barry, Paige Judge. Don't see Paige. Anton Mullen. Present. Thank
I
you.
believe Paige says she may be a little late.
Yeah, she did mention that to me as well. Reshma Patel.
Here.
Letty Simon.
Here.
Thank you. Mark Thompson is excused. Sarah Whittington.
Present.
Thank you. Robert Farfan.
Present.
Thank you. Mubin Siddiqui.
Present.
Thank you. Rabia Iqbal. We don't see Rabia. And Paige Judge. Is Paige joined us? Don't see Paige yet, but we'll show join us there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Out of 7, 11 members, we have a call.
Okay, thank you, Brian. On the screen, you will see the agenda. The agenda was shared ahead of time, and if there are no objections, we will go ahead and adopt the agenda. Okay,
That sounds good.
yep, looks good. Let's see, the minutes from the April 1st, 2025 meeting are being reviewed. When they're ready, they will be distributed to the committee. Okay, so just the general ground rules here. We've been doing this for a couple of years now, so don't speak until you're granted the floor. You know, raise your hand if you would like to speak. Do not discuss committee business over Zoom. Make sure that we can hear each other, you know, don't speak over top of each other, speak one at a time. And yeah, I mean, I think that's pretty much it. So we then go to tonight's agenda. We will start off with Sheena Kaufman. Nice to see you, Sheena. Oh, I'm sorry, just like one thing as well, because we also have another panelist. So Sandro Sherrod, member of the board, he is decided to come in and attend this evening. We had talked about a few things just about parks. Sandro is a former chair of the board. And Sandra, I think you were also the chair of the Parks Committee before?
I think I was vice chair of the parks at one point.
Okay,
Yeah.
so thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Okay, so we just start with the agenda. The NYC Department of Parks and Recreation report from Sheena Kaufman. How are you, Sheena?
Good evening. Can everybody hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
Can see you.
Okay. You can't see me?
I can see you. You're looking
You can
great.
see.
Oh,
Italy did
okay.
wonders for you.
Oh man, it was amazing. Hello. All right, so I'm gonna start off with St. Martin's Park. So we have several bids that went out. We are just waiting, to see if one is chosen. And if so, we're going to be able to start the renovations in the fall. So that's the idea if it gets accepted for St. Martin's Playground. As you all know, that was up for renovation. The playground, not the field, but the playground part. So hopefully that it goes through, and I should have a update for you. If something comes through prior, I'll just send CB6 a email to let them know. All right. The Green Street, the Wallenberg Place, that's across the street from DAG. On June 16th, we're gonna be closing it off for repointing of the Cobble Plaza. So we're gonna close it for maybe a few days, depending on the weather and the condition. It should take a few days. If it takes longer, I'll just let you know. As everybody know, Tudor Grove is closing intermittently. Like it's open like for a week and then might close. We're letting the public know when we're going to close it and when we're going to reopen it, because they're doing some work on a adjacent property inside Tudor Grove. Hopefully this will be done by the end of the summer. We are praying that it does get completed, but I'll keep you posted on, the closures and the openings and when they're going to be finished. Murphy's Brothers Playground. So the large dog run, we're going to be closing it off for about 4 weeks to install the safety flood wall fencing. I don't have an exact date when we're going to close it, but I will post signs. I've asked them to give me a few days before they come to close it off, so I can be able to post the signs and let the public know. But they did give me a heads up. It's going to take about 4 weeks. So of course, I've been getting some reports about Petersfield Playground. So our PEP unit has been checking quite frequently there, because we're getting a lot of complaints from the school about, dog poop on the field and dogs off a leash. So they have, decided to give us some more attention at Petersfield. So far, so good. I haven't had any more complaints from the school as of yet, but we're still kind of early with it. For Stuyvesant Park, so as you know, during the summertime, we open up our city pools, which is going to open June 27th. So some of our staff that's assigned to Stuyvesant will be going to the city pools to work as an incentive. They get stepped up so they can earn a little extra more money, and as well as get the experience of supervising staff and making sure that the pool operation is, goes smoothly for the summer. I am going to replace the staff with some seasonal staff, so we don't lose a beat. It might be a couple of days, might be some discomfort because they have to go to training. But that's not going to be like, for weeks. It's just a few days. So that's going to happen there. About 90% of the Bird Be Gone spikes at Dag Hammerstone has been installed on I guess you would call that the decorative dome. And that's to keep the birds from, using the bathroom all over the dome area. So far so good. All of it is not done, but so far so good. The spikes, they look beautiful. They match the dome. They're black, but I was there for about a half an hour today, and the birds were staying away. Only part that they were on was the part that we didn't get to put the spikes on. So, and they're going to come back to conclude that within the next week or so. And once that's up and we power wash it again, we'll get a better understanding if it's really working. But I spent a lot of money on these bird spikes so we can help the residents out there. Okay, so far as Vincent Albano, I've ordered permanent signage for no pickleball at this playground. I did give them another site that pickleball can be played at, which will be St. Martin's. The signs are not quite ready yet, but because I'm getting an abundance of calls, I laminated some signs and placed it in and around the park, the playground. So if you see the signs, I've ordered the permanent signage, but I put the temporary signs out, and I informed our PEP unit. Our PEP unit has been going there for a few days, and so far they haven't seen any pickleball players. So, and I did go a few weeks back, and I informed the pickleball players that this will be coming, taking place at Vincent Albano. And I also informed them that they should use St. Martin's to play pickleball. I also installed 2 bollards to prevent cars from parking inside the handball court area, the little multi-purpose area. So hopefully that'll cut the people parking their personal cars inside there. And that's at Vincent Albano. And just to let everybody know, on June 26th, the old Lasker Pool, which has now been renamed Gotsum Pool and Rink, will open on June 26th for the public. They spent a great deal of money redirecting the mirror and giving us a brand new pool, and a skating ring, and also some turf area. So it's going to fluctuate throughout the season. But June 26th, that pool will open. So everyone should really come out and see it. It's amazing. You can actually go online to the park website and you can get a visual look at the Gotsum pool and rink. And they show you how it's going to look in the summer, how it's going to look in the fall, and how it's going to look in the winter, coming on to the spring. And I think that's about it. Well, in June 27th, all city pools are open. As you're aware, the beaches are open, but we don't have any beaches in Manhattan. It's also next to the pool is the Davis Center as well. So you can go check that out as well. And that'll be open as well on June 26th. And that's about all that I have. Robert has some more stuff to give you. Robert McLean, the regional manager, he's on this call as well.
Hi, Robert.
Yeah, hi, can you hear?
Yes. Yes, we can hear you.
Oh, okay. Well, let me give you an update on Stuyvesant Square Park. We got, excuse me one sec. Oh boy, hang on a second. Okay, you can hear now. I thought it was too loud. Okay, we've been baiting rats at Stuyvesant Square Park every week for 3 months. On the west section of the park, we have fumigated 160 rat holes. On the eastern section of Stuyvesant, we've fumigated 60. At Peters Field, we started 3 weeks ago, that has 90 rat holes over one block. And you
Yeah.
know how narrow that is? Those
Yes.
rat holes were very, very large, which indicates that they have been used by many, many rats. All right, so the crew killed 6 of them last week, and they fumigated Petersfield today, and they fumigated the west side of Stuyvesant this morning. We're getting a problem with some vandals in the west section of Stuyvesant. Some people are removing sprinkler heads, and someone deliberately broke the concrete Bruckner box, the cover. We just noticed that this morning. That was on the eastern section by 15th Street, I'm sorry, 17th Street and 2nd Avenue. I'm sorry, that's 15th Street and Perlman. We have 2 sections in the western section of Stuyvesant from 16th Street to 17th Street along 2nd Avenue that doesn't look like it's working. So I've called the plumbers, and they're going to go check it out. And then also on the western section between 16th Street and 17th Street along Rutherford, that section doesn't seem to be working. But we'll get the plumbers there as soon as we can. There's some water coming out of an environmental, it's an EPA, Environmental Parks, I mean, it's a pest environment. The water is flooding out of it's by, let's see, it's around 15th Street on the west section of the park. And so I called EPA, but I haven't heard anything back from them. That's about it. We'll have to get the shops people to fix that Bruckner box. But since I've been there, this is the first case of vandalism that I've noticed.
Anyone have any
I
questions?
just have one
Sure.
question. Hi, Sheena, this is Mabeen. How are you?
Okay.
Good to see you. Sheena, quick question. The renovation that they're doing to St. Martin's Park, playground, I mean, do you know if they're going to upgrade it to be an inclusive playground?
Well, all of our playgrounds are actually inclusive. When you mean inclusive,
Ensuring that they have equipment and, for children with special needs.
So as we do all the playgrounds over, there are sections that are for kids with special needs. Specifically, I think I know what you're talking about. We have one playground that's just fully designed for special needs. So this playground is not going to be fully designed, but special needs kids can utilize it with their wheelchairs. They'll be able to roll up the ramp and play with the different apparatuses. It's gonna be certain age groups. So, but this is not a full playground for special needs, but their special needs can use this playground, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I understand.
Right.
You're saying a portion of
There's
the
2 parks in the city that I know of that's fully for special needs.
Which ones are those, Sheena?
There's one downtown along the South Street Seaport. I can't think of the name. And the other one is on 103rd in Amsterdam, which is called Bloomingdale Playground.
I see.
That one, because I used to work up there. And at the time, when we were designing Bloomingdale, that came up to have, is all fully, and all kids can use it, but it's fully designed for that.
Thank you, I appreciate it. I wish they would make every playground like that. But,
well, you can, to be honest with you, when you do the smaller kids and then the different age groups, if you look at Murphy's Brothers, you will be able to see that it's designed, actually really designed for all kids, special needs and everyone. It is.
I
It
see.
is Murfreesboro. They did a amazing job at making it inclusive for all.
Right, thank you.
Yeah, and I know at Astor Levy, they have there's Braille there. And I know with the update with the playground, I guess like, the people have like a sensory processing disorder, touching certain types of surfaces that are
Mhm.
cold or too hot can really like shock them. They're unable to regulate themselves. So I noticed at Astor Levy, there's like, I guess like the texture isn't like the old hard like metal
I see.
texture that we have. So there are like some parts that are covered. It looks like with
That's
like
good to know.
plastic. So I mean, that's, I think one thing that also goes to
Mhm.
people with special needs. Michael?
So about so I was wondering, like, about what you were saying about the playground, if like the cover and things. Are they adding that to more and more of them? I mean, like, like slides and things like that, or?
I mean, like I mean, Sheena would know. So Sheena said the two parks, I don't know like about the slide part they had. If they have it, I was talking more, I guess, about like the parts where like kids are climbing around or where
interactive,
they
yeah.
can move around. But I don't know how that could be done, like with a slide, that would be possible.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure about the slide. I've seen other play parks, but not in this country, that are fully designed for that. And if it's like Israel has a lot of beautiful playgrounds. They're amazing. If you want to go to their website, all of their playgrounds are all inclusive. All of their
That's
playgrounds,
good.
but it also costs a lot. It does. It also costs a lot for that to be done, and you know, and they have the space to do it, if that makes sense. Like the city is very small when it comes down to, if you look at the parks that's there. We have nowhere near the acreage that it's there, and so we try to as we do new parks over, we incorporate new things as we do, as we get them, we always try to add in to make sure everyone is included, even down to our swing area, right? Our tire swing area, and you're able to slide off. The space is big enough for you to slide from your wheelchair to the tire swing. So certain things that the city is moving up to, it depending on the area that has that calls for it. All right, we do a lot of outreach in everyone's area when we do these playgrounds over, to ask what would you like. And just recently we did that with Augustus and Gardens. So, and everyone gave their input. Of course, it's just not enough space to get everything in it, so we had to narrow some things down. But for the most part, that playground is going to be amazing.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Ann Hirsch had her hand raised earlier. I'll promote you to panelist.
Zan,
Ann Hirsch, if you'd like to unmute, you should be able to speak.
Okay, thank you for calling on me. I'm very excited about Shayna's report about the bird spikes on the dome, the entrance dome of Dag Hammarskjöld Plaza, because it's been a terrible problem and the Green Market sets up right there. And you can't walk under that dome. and people come and feed the pigeons, but they put these and the pigeons love to roost on it. And so they installed the spikes, and then Lori told me that we have to come back and install some more because it's gonna take a lot of spikes. So my question, Shana, this is a story that we would love to cover. As you said, you know, you were investigating whether it's effective, how effective it is. We would be very much interested in sharing that story with the public because it's such a interesting one. And will it be effective? It's a huge subject. So, do you know if that the this the second round of installations that just happened, and are they coming back for a third round?
They are coming back for a third round, the final round, because it just takes a lot of time to do the installation. We're really limited, and it's a priority for me, but it's not a high priority because we're opening up pools now. But the only time we can get this done is when the weather is good, because they're in bucket trucks.
It's a fascinating story, though. Our readers would love this. So who would I talk to get like the details of how many spikes and how many then, just for somebody to be interviewed?
Well, I know how many spikes that I purchased them.
Okay,
I'll give
so
it to
you're the
Dan.
person.
I'll give it to
All right,
probably
so
the guy that sent his crew to do it. Our guy Danny. I'll talk to him.
So we have
I'll
some
talk
very
to him.
interested board members. I'll see which one of them wants to do this story and keep it going.
It really looks nice. It blends right in.
Yeah, I
If
know.
you take a
First
look
time
at
I
it,
went
it
there,
looks
I could
nice.
hardly notice them. We even tried windmills up there. It wasn't very effective. But also birds get used to things, you know. They're very smart. And it doesn't help that people come that are just absolutely devoted to feeding them.
Yeah.
We've got this
Unfortunately,
drive-by guy who just comes by, speeding by, and throws that food out the window. It's scary. And that's over by the bicycle stand. And then there's another person who comes on a scooter, like as if he were disabled. And he comes there like a ritual. And there's another one who loves that they sit in his lap and he feeds them and he brags about it. So you have a whole, coterie of pigeon lovers. And then you have those of us who don't want to get shit on.
right. So we're gonna be on top of it. We just we're just gonna see how it pans out. So far, so good.
Yeah,
and
the pressure washing is great news too.
Yep.
I know.
And
Thank you.
I believe Kieran Stevens also had a question.
Okay.
In the Q&A. Kieran, I'll promote you to panelist if you'd like to ask it live. Kieran, you should be able to unmute.
Hi, I'm just trying to get to a quiet place. I'm at work. Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Hi, my name is Kieran. I'm from PS40. I'm on the PTA with Tess Smalley, and we've been in contact with Neil. And we're very excited for the new renovation that's going to happen at Augustus St. Gaudens Playground. Our concern when we had thought about it, and after looking at the plans, is that we understand that the fencing is going to be lowered to a new height. I can't remember if it's somewhere between 4 and 6 feet. But we would like to request a variance in the proposed renovation, and that is to keep the fencing at the current height, so that people cannot get in and as well as in and out, as well as the children cannot climb in and out, as we see that this could be a potential hazard if we for the kids, and then it's also a safe space. Currently this year, as well as last, and I think into next year, we've been having to use the Augusta St. Gaudens playground for some very serious renovations throughout the schools. And we've been in contact with the principals as well, and they are in agreement that if it would be safer if we kept it at a higher height. That way, just to protect the kids. Thank you.
So as you are, everyone's aware, the Parks has adopted the Parks Without Borders. When we do playgrounds over, we're lowering the fence to make it look more inviting. I'm not gonna say it might not be any exceptions. It probably in certain areas is probably an exception. But the city is really, really strong about not having any more high fences. And we're gonna lower it to 4 feet. But that's not the basketball court area that's going to be lowered. Because it is basketball, it has to have a higher fence. And that's where the school kids line up. And the only thing I can tell you is that you can just you can send me a letter and I can forward it over. But this has already been in the plan and already's been talked about. We spoke about this, and the city is like really, really strong on not having any more high fences in the school area, in the playground areas, just because they wanted to make it more inviting. I could just bring it back to my chiefs and the commissioner, and they can bring it up, further up the chain. But for this has been an argument throughout the 5 boroughs, and I don't know many cases that have won this case, to be honest. A lot of the fences have been lowered because that's what the city would like to see. They don't want to make it seem like it's the parks are not saying come in and you have all these high gates. That was the idea when they came up with the Parks Without Borders, to lower the fencing there, just to make sure it's more inviting. And that's at every park, because nobody wanted to lower their fence. Everybody wanted to keep the fences up, high, up. And unfortunately, it didn't work.
But that doesn't make sense if you said everybody wants them to stay up, and then
that's what they, because change is hard when you're used to them being that way, and and then they lower them.
Fences are for a reason.
Right.
That's all in all of the parks, but then they decided to change that attitude. They wanted to change
and
the
it's
attitude.
less effective as a fence.
Right. Well, I'm not gonna say, I can't say that it's
I can
less
say
effective,
because we deal with dogs all the time.
right? But if you look at certain areas, we don't close in our plazas, right? We don't we don't lock in our plaza areas. The plazas are open to the to
I
all
planted
night.
those I planted our borders 3 times before we put up a fence, and I used 6 feet and drove 3 feet into the ground and put mesh fencing, and it wasn't until then that we were able to have plants behind there. People climbed in to get higher for demonstrations, and dogs just ran amok. So that changed dramatically the whole park experience, because we were able to have plants in there. Now that the renovation is taking place, they're putting in actually a lower fence, but also a pipe rail fence that we will have to put mesh behind, and they didn't close off the ends where all the dogs will go right in. So I'm trying to get that added in the contract, but they had already fabricated the fence. So
I
I'm just injecting this because I know the history, but sometimes you shouldn't continue to pursue a policy that, you know, when people bring actual experience to the table. I'm not taking you out on this. I'm actually just addressing the principle of it.
Yeah,
don't have the power to.
I do. I understand, you know, from everyone's point of view. I just don't get to make those decisions.
Yeah, exactly.
Those
But maybe you
decisions
can
are
just
made.
pass it
You
on.
know, and all I can do is pass it on. But you know, the idea is not to make the city look like it's, you know,
Yeah,
full
right.
of gates.
But the fact
Right.
of the matter is the fences are there for a reason.
Yeah, they are, and I guess they're looking to change the outcome of that, and to change people's minds.
Somebody pushed for this policy wise,
Right,
it would
so
require
it's all the
resolution if we
different,
want to change it, yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
there's-
so it's
but I-
not worth wasting her time on this.
Right, so I think probably the best thing to do would be, Karen, if you could email Sheena a letter, and the letter could just explain the position of the parents at PS 40 and what their concerns are. And I think you could also note, I think you said the principal also supports the idea of keeping the fence higher instead of lowering it to 4 feet. Does that seem okay, Sheena? Is that something we could do?
That's something you can do. Yes.
Okay. All right,
Okay.
yeah, we can, okay.
put
we
my
can make that
email
happen.
in the webinar chat so you have it. Okay. And I look forward to continuing the conversation.
Okay,
Thank you.
okay. Any other questions for Sheena or Robert? Okay, so I think you guys are off the hook. Oh, I guess I would just say like, with Robert, thank you so much for coming through the walkthrough at, Stuyvesant Square Park, last month. So that was really good. Robert was there and he was taking notes and, you know, just outlining different ways to address some of the challenges in the park. So we appreciate his dedication. But yeah, parks crew, you guys are free to go home. Have a great evening.
Good night. Good night.
Take care.
Bye.
Oh, thank you.
All right.
What was interesting about this conversation about the inclusive parks, she was saying, oh, well, they have more space than us, and she used Israel as an example. The whole country's the size of New Jersey. Like, they don't have more space than us.
Well,
They just designed it better.
No, but I think she's talking about New York City compared to.
Yeah, but still, it's a
Israel.
pretty densely populated place. It's not like Sweden has inclusive parks. They got a lot of space and not that many people.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, I don't know, I mean,
Yeah.
I was just thinking like city-wise.
Yeah, like the Netherlands does it, and they're small too. I mean, Amsterdam, I mean, obviously New York City is way more dense, but I'm saying there are large, like,
Big
when
cities
you
that
think
have-
about even if they're not as dense as New York, there's a lot of per capita density in these places.
Mhm. Yeah,
Yeah, and sometimes we get conflicting information because we had talked about an inclusive park one time at the borough president's office. And they said it isn't very expensive to make parks inclusive. But she was, but I think it depends, maybe it's very elaborate, the ones that are fully inclusive as she was describing.
yeah,
But what I had heard from the borough president's office was, in general, it's not terribly expensive to make parks inclusive.
okay,
So glad to know that there's a lot of inclusivity in parks.
yeah, I know.
I did not realize that.
Yeah.
That direction.
Sandro has his hand raised.
Sandro?
Yeah, Reshma, I don't know,
Yeah.
exactly what she was referring to, but I would just say that I'm pretty sure that CV6, or CD6, the district, has the lowest per capita amount of open park space across
Yeah.
the city. So
Yeah.
I don't know if that's what she meant, but I would say that relatively low amount of per person for, Israel, New Jersey, or the rest of the city.
Yeah, no, and that makes sense, maybe it's per district, because
Yeah.
as a city, I feel we probably do have the space to have more inclusive parks.
Right, anyone else? So I think we can go on to, let's take a look, we'll pull up the budget request, this shouldn't be too long, we'll just, take a quick look. 'Cause I know everyone is probably had the chance to take a look at the request. They've been up there, for some time and, you know, pretty easy, straightforward. Can you pull that up, Ryan? Yeah, Mama, thank you.
So, the sixth request in the rankings is a new park in the district.
So that one, I think the position of the Parks Department on this is that NYU will eventually be vacating the space at 34th Street, right near the heliport there. So I think that's the position that would then meet that request of a new park.
Yeah, that's the response they gave back in
Yeah.
the letter I think we got in January from the
Yeah.
request from last year, that they consider that a new park. And so I guess the question for us is, do we think that's sufficient, or do we want more, given what Sandro just brought up, that, you know, we have the least amount of park space? And that area isn't that large, like, I don't know what the square footage is, but just looking at it's not that big.
Well, then the question is, I guess just in general, the park, where do we put it? Where do we put a new park?
Yeah, that,
You cannot say.
no,
the
I
one
know,
lot.
I know,
Can't say.
which is the one lot, I
Can't say.
think long before either one of us were ever on this board, is the lot that everyone has wanted.
Yeah, no, trust me,
Yeah,
it would be fantastic if at least we
Yeah.
had a section,
yeah,
but,
yeah.
I think it'd be interesting to know which areas of the district don't have adequate green space. Like, for instance, we are spoiled in the mid-30s where St. Martin's is a big park and a playground, but I don't know, there might be many other areas of the district where there really is a dearth of it. And I don't know, if
Yeah.
there's lots of places where they can go. So something, I think parks should do a study if they haven't already.
but I think also they're probably betting as well on the Greenway extension.
Yeah,
Whenever
just,
that,
yeah, whenever that happens.
whenever
yeah.
that will be, because I know when it was open, when we were there, that was noted.
Yeah,
About how much limited open space that we have, but the Greenway is helping to address that.
yeah. No, and we have that new way pier, like in small chunks, we
Yeah.
have gotten more
More space.
space than we've
Yeah.
ever had. I'm
Yeah.
okay taking it off, I'm just arguing that it is not as big a space as we would have wanted.
I think we could just
Yeah.
keep it for now. Let's just
Yeah.
see. I mean, NYU still hasn't vacated.
Yeah, so maybe it doesn't even have to,
So,
so
yeah,
keep it
I
on,
mean, NYU may not,
Yeah.
something may change
yeah,
on their end. I mean, we never know
yeah.
what happens. Michael?
Will this new park be affected by the closures of the waterfront? Like, I noticed they're closing your waterfront off in places right now. In stages, like they're closing in one part of the waterfront and another for each side goes through those things.
That, so that one, I believe is like further south, right?
It's like further south,
But so this one, the NYU one is right near the heliport,
34th to the.
right there, it's like
34th.
34th and the FDR. So
Like
that's,
right near the ferry.
yes, yep, south
Yeah.
of the ferry. Yep.
okay.
Okay, I see Paige has her hand raised.
Okay, Paige.
Yeah, for the budget request, I spoke to Neil earlier on this. The solo lot. Originally, in the very, very beginning, they were going to make a walkway over or somehow to get to the Esplanade. We basically only have one entrance to that, which is, I think, 37th Street.
Yes,
And I looked at it yesterday, it was horrible looking. I mean, I wouldn't want to go there. I've never been on the Esplanade, but I know I'm not going there to get onto it. I think we should request somehow, even if we just write a resolution and have land use look into this, that whoever's going to build on it, whether the casino goes there or whether they go back to having it just as a housing thing, that there should be a number of entrances that you can get to the Esplanade, or otherwise it's a waste.
And I would ask, Sandro, because Mark and Marty, they're both out, so I have to ask you. So over the years, did you or did the board ever look at any other potential spaces for parks in the district?
Yeah, I think we've repeatedly looked at different locations, vacant lots, the challenge has always been that they have been privately owned. So I think the one potential advantage is that the sites along the waterfront are fully owned and operated by the city. They do or do not have to let them out like they did with the water club and other facilities. So EDC in the past has opted to optimize for revenue generation, but I think we want to try to look at that balance between revenue generation, maybe having concession, but making it more accessible to the community. So I don't think that we have ever found a more suitable location than the waterfront between, I want to say like the 26th through the 38th Street area, because there's several potential enjoyment opportunities there that really haven't been utilized by many of the community.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, so that's number one, park. Seawall reconstruction, I mean, that one speaks for itself. So I think, can we go to 3? I mean, like, 3 is kind of, we know about this one as well, access to the East River, Esplanade, 36. So, let's see, what?
So,
Okay.
The response for this current year was that the agency supports but cannot accommodate, resubmit requests. Their explanation is we're going to try to fix the problem between 36 and 38th Streets and turn the water back on in the spring. We'll look into whether a water line can be installed in the next 3 blocks. Anyway, here as part of a future capital project.
Yeah, so that one is challenging. We, I don't know if you were already a member, but we had a presentation by the Alliance.
The Kips Bay Alliance.
Kips Bay
Yeah,
Alliance.
of Molly and
yeah, and Sandy, and they went over some of the structural challenges there. I mean, so that's probably a major project that they'll have to do. I mean, we'll keep it there, and we're hoping that it will happen one day. I think like Marty said the one time, keep it on there. You never know what will happen.
Yeah,
Kind
I
of
think
lands.
there's two thoughts. The budget committee has moved to the thought that fewer the better, so we get stuff, and it has actually worked because we have gotten more responses. But this one, I would say keep on, because I know for a fact, because the other issue is sometimes we put stuff on and then we don't hear from the community, but in this situation, Kips Bay Alliance, we hear from all the time because we know Sandy.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, Sandy and Molly, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, capital improvements, no, but that one, that is number. Okay, so that's 4. Can we go to, I'm looking, 5, we all know about that, renovations to the 55th Street Park, that's also making it accessible for those who, I guess, for what, ADA accessible at that park. So we know about that one. They did receive some funding. It was partially funded, as it states up there. So they'll need additional funding to complete that. 7, renovate Ralph Bunch. Okay.
Did you want to skip number 6 or?
Yeah, I'm just looking. Peters Field. So the capital improvements to Peters Field, is that, so they put the turf down. I'm just wondering what else, like what other part is on here. It says only need upgrades. Okay. Because I know with the turf, and that was a part of the ESCR.
Yeah,
where
it
the
was, yeah.
funding came for the turf. So I mean, that's
So what-
something, I guess something that we could look. a
Is
bit-
there a Friends of Peter Field group? Like, do you remember where this came from, or is this before? you?
No, no,
'Cause
that-
I remember this.
I mean, that was before me.
Yeah,
I don't think Lisa DeVito isn't online. She's
Yes,
involved with a lot of the parks, so she talks about Peters Field
Yeah.
sometimes. So I could we could ask her. Then you have, we got 7.
so it says actually it was added August 2021, so that's actually,
20, that was Kevin then.
Yeah, Kevin was chair, but
Kevin.
I was on the, I guess I'm just,
You just-
I'm forgetting, yeah.
It's a tough time. It was COVID.
That's
and
true,
it
it's COVID.
4 years ago.
Oh, yeah, now I know why I don't remember.
Yeah.
It's COVID, we're on Zoom at home and
Rough.
I could have had COVID probably, I don't know.
Oh, gosh, I hope you didn't.
I got it near the end of it.
It was rough. That's a tough. I say, okay, so this one renovating Ralph Bunch, I mean, yeah, we will always keep this one on there forever. And then one day it's just gonna happen.
It's gonna happen.
But I would say that Representative Nadler, he did provide some funding to the park.
Yeah.
I think it was more than $1 million.
Oh, really? I knew that, that's a funny.
Yeah, I believe I would have to get an exact number
Yeah.
on that. But I believe it's $1 million, or maybe it's more, but I want to say at least $1 million. And so we had seen him, and then there was also someone in his office, and we had talked about it. So, you know, that's good. I think Ralph Bunch was definitely a forgotten park, and I think the committee did a really good job of focusing on it. And then, of course, the Parks Department with, Sheena's crew, and you also had Therese Flores, and then, you know, Alyssa DeVito's group, the Friends of Ralph Bunch, they've done a really good job there, so we obviously keep that one on there. ADA accessibility at parks, I mean, yeah, that would be awesome when that happens, that would be fantastic, right?
Yeah,
That's,
Yeah,
we just talked about it, right?
Yeah.
What is the response, they said?
They said that the agency supports and can accommodate. They advise us to.
And they asked us to remove the request,
Yeah.
but we just heard differently from Sheena.
right,
I mean, technically, isn't it against the law not to have everything ADA accessible? Yeah, yeah, I mean, I assume it's still federal, I don't know if these.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think, let me see some of the sports, I can, 1 second, remove request explanation, provide accessibility for some high priorities. So I think what they're saying is that, you know, it's going to happen, you know?
I guess it's just, we don't know, it's kind of like the
Yeah.
elevators in the subways.
Yeah, I mean, there are even like some things I know with like some of the curbs. I think this is related with DOT, but I think like the curbs, if it isn't accessible, I don't think, you know, there's certain funding that could be obtained. Again, I was just taking a walk with someone, I'd have to, you know, understand it a lot more, but you know, sometimes when you see those curbs that are all messed up, and even if they're for, you know, ADA accessible, but you can't get out.
Can I
Yeah.
say something about that?
Okay, yeah.
Liz Kruger and I took a tour of this neighborhood because I used to meet her when she was working on 43rd Street. And because of the curb cuts, I had asked for a curb cut for Tudor City. We had 3 curb cuts. We didn't have a 4th. A lady came to me in a wheelchair and asked me that I put a curb cut. It took 15 years to get a curb cut. Each curb cut, I found out, is done by not the same company. There are no things that they have to be even or not even. It's whenever they get to it, they put them in. It's a disgrace. It really is. They're not handicap accessible. I mean, in some instances, you go down to First Avenue in the East Village. Those things are really high. You can't get on and off them. I know, I've had to go around blocks. I mean, that's one thing I really feel the city, and I told at the time, the head of the Department of Transportation, she came also with us. Now, the curb cuts are a really big problem in the city.
All right, thank you, Paige. Okay, so you got that one. I'm just, you know.
So then I guess we don't want to remove it because we think it's still a problem.
I feel if it just keeps their eye on the ball, why not?
Yeah, that, you know, I understand, I guess, the budget committee's approach, but then also just leaving.
No, I think we should,
Okay.
especially given that it actually hasn't happened,
Yeah.
right? But maybe we move it to continuing support
That's fine.
because they're saying remove it from this. So,
We'll do continuing
Yeah.
support. That's fine.
because if we don't have it, we want to monitor it.
Okay. Let's see.
No, you're going up, I want you to go. Inside.
Brian,
Reach.
thanks. Let's see, okay, the locker, okay, so that one's ongoing, I mean, they
Yeah.
said that it's been funded by, you know, it's ongoing, and so it's done. And that's what I think, like, the majority of these things are here, like I
Yeah.
said, not having to go through like each one, right?
Yeah,
You know, just looking at it,
yeah, we do have to
irrigation.
click on it, I can just. see
Yeah,
it,
irrigation, we know that, like pickleball courts, okay. We have, but I guess like to make it an actual pickleball court, but there have not been any actual pickleball courts yet in New York. I don't believe designated, maybe only one, or I think none yet, I don't.
So
think
is it
there's
Central
any.
Park on like temporary, is that the thing?
Maybe, but there's nothing like it, like a handball court, there's
Yeah.
nothing that is like a pickleball court yet officially. Let's see, installing irrigation capability, yeah, we know about that one, capital improvements, repair, fountain, repair, capital improvements, so the rec center, additional. Yeah, PEP officers, increased library fund, yeah, I mean, so I don't, you know, I don't really see, I don't see any issue with any of the ones we currently have up there right now. We should.
What about the repair of the fountains in Dag Hammarskjöld? Is that part of the renovation that's happening now? If you can just click on that one, yeah.
Yeah, so,
Yeah, to address this, so move it to continuing.
Okay, that's fine.
I think it is actually.
Oh, it is continuing?
Yeah.
Okay,
It was in the
continuing
yellow,
support.
yes.
it is yellow,
Yes.
okay. Oh, it's right there, yeah.
So those, the request. Does anyone have any other comments with the request? No?
Have we had any people come recently who needed funding that we should add? I don't remember anything, but
Oh,
have any conversations, because you're also.
Wait,
out
we
there
should
meeting-
have
meeting
the-
people.
we did, shouldn't we have the tree grates on there? The one from,
Did we write a resolution for that, right? We wrote a resolution. Yeah,
yeah, we wrote a resolution and someone didn't think that, you know, it should have been in. a
Yeah,
separate Resolution.
So it was sent back to our committee, actually.
oh, it
Yeah,
was,
yeah.
because that was Marty, right?
That
Marty?
was at the
No,
floor.
No,
no,
it wasn't Marty. who said
No,
that,
it was another really nice guy.
Yeah.
Made us send it back, so, no, but that's something, you know, that could potentially be discussed with, I think the one thing. I
But we
think-
should add it as a request, even
Yeah.
if the resolution got sent back.
Yeah, I mean, I was just gonna say one thing though about the resolution thing, I
Yeah.
know because you've said it's never been done in the process. and
Yeah,
that-
yeah, I think we can just add it without a resolution.
But a lot of these resolutions that we do write, people don't read this stuff. That actual resolution, people will read it, like that
Yeah.
resolution is read,
Yeah,
like, I mean, so that's the way I look at it, is that it is something that will be
Yeah.
read by an elected official,
Yeah.
by an agency.
as opposed to this table, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, you know?
Yeah.
And that's why.
Excuse me.
Yeah,
Yeah, they will, you know, we do a lot of resolutions, I think that we put a lot of time and we think through
Yeah.
them, but. People probably don't
yeah,
read these, unfortunately, we would hope, you know, but I think that one's practical
Yeah.
that. Someone does read it, but yeah, so even if we ever come back to that one, we could discuss, but yeah, so we could add that on, we could add that one on about the tree grates. We're gonna do that. And then but we also have, I think, until October, so we have
well,
that one.
not really, because the public meeting is in September, so we don't meet in July and August
Mhm.
generally, right?
Yeah.
And the first meeting, early September, because budget is like the second Monday. And you'll have a public hearing, and then in October 31st is the time to submit it all.
Okay,
Yeah, so
Okay.
ideally you would want everything there by the public meeting.
okay, so what we could do, we can add that one, tree grates, and then I know the tree guards. That was with Jack and Jill, we could probably add that one as well, we just have to vote to add that,
Mhm.
and so we have some information about the numbers. They were actually,
Yeah, so you just have to put, I mean, there's
Just
a
have-
word limit on this anyway, so you gotta
yeah,
put a
yeah.
short blurb,
We
yeah.
just, we just add those, I mean, the one like Jack and Jill, if we needed to, I guess if we could have like a quick call just to formally,
Yeah.
or, yeah, I mean, so we would definitely have it in there, I guess, either by September and definitely by October. I mean,
Yeah.
that one we all know about, so there
Yeah.
isn't really much to discuss.
You don't think we could just decide today to take a vote, because we have quorum, no?
Yeah, I mean, that's fine.
Yeah, I mean, if you wanna wait, it's fine too, I'm just saying if you wanna just get it.
No, I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, I guess we could, yeah, I mean, we could put it in there and then,
Yeah, because you could vote on it and then do the write-up,
yeah,
yeah.
that's fine.
Yeah.
Okay, so that one, I guess because I'm looking at this, who knows if we ever go back to like the resolution.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm thinking in my mind, like.
So,
what
oh,
to set up
would you
that.
rather have the resolution passed first, or?
No, I mean, that's something we can come to at another time,
Yeah.
you know, some people had objections to it,
Yeah.
but, yeah, so I think, I'm fine, you know, we could add that to the budget request. Jack and Joe's, the school right near Stuyvesant Square Park, that's where we had the meeting, at St. George's, the school is located, I guess it's technically in St. George's. And so, they just wanna add the tree guards there on 16th Street. I don't know if you saw some of those, like the tree, what, we can't say tree pits, what is the? Tree beds.
Tree beds.
Tree beds, yeah, tree pits, tree beds, you know, they're not, you know, there's nothing that protects. There's nothing to stop children or adults or anyone from walking and, you know, not falling or tripping over. And going in, and the space is so small that oftentimes you have to move out of the way to allow someone else to, you know, to walk through. So I could definitely see people getting hurt, and especially kids. If you have
Yeah,
kids
no,
around.
I didn't make that meeting, but I went and looked afterwards, like I
Okay.
wasn't there for St. Joe's, but I saw that, I went and took a
Okay.
look afterwards. yeah.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so if everyone's okay with us adding that as a request?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, and no objections?
You should probably do a roll call, just,
Okay, that's fine.
okay. When I call your name, please answer in favor, opposed, abstain, or not entitled. Paige Judge,
In favor,
thank you. Anton Moen,
Favor.
thank you. Reshma Patel,
In favor.
thank you. Letty Simon,
I don't think you can hear me.
We can hear
We
you.
can hear you.
Okay, in favor.
thank you. Neil Barker,
In favor?
thank you. Sarah Whittington,
In favor.
thank you. Robert Barton,
In favor.
thank you. Rubin Siddiqui,
In favor.
thank you. With 8 in favor, 0 opposed, 0 abstaining, 0 not entitled. the motion passes.
Okay. We'll add that one. So those are the two.
And did you wanna do a roll call vote for, the Sutton area community?
For the tree grades, yeah,
Tree
we can, I
request?
mean, we had already
Good.
passed the resolution, but sure, we can do it again.
When I call your name, please answer in favor, opposed, abstaining, or not entitled. Paige Judge,
in favor,
thank you. Anton Moen,
In favor.
thank you. Reshma Patel,
In favor.
thank you. Letty Simon,
In favor.
thank you. Neil Barton,
In favor.
thank you. Sarah Whittington,
In favor.
thank you. Robert Parkin,
In favor.
thank you. Rubin Siddiqui,
In favor.
thank you. 8 in favor, 0 opposed, 0 abstaining, 0 not entitled, the motion passes.
Okay. So moving on, chairs report, wait, nothing there. Then old business, nothing. I would say just, following up with, is it, let me see if I can remember. The Historic Community
Districts Council?
There you go, Historic District Community. So I can still follow up with them. We could follow up about having like a tour. They moved office spaces. So they were at St. Mark's on the Bowery. They were there for, I guess, maybe 20 years at least. It's still in the Gramercy area. So I have to find out, but they were right in the middle of moving when they had comment presented. So, okay, new business, I don't have anything. Sandro, anything? Is he still on or no? Do you have any new business, any
No,
And-
absolutely not. But thank you. This has been a very informative meeting.
All right, thanks for joining us. Anyone else?
I just have a quick question as we looked at all the, I know something that Sandy mentioned, because I know she's part of the Friends of the Esplanade, about, what do you call them? The whole sinkholes. Is that an issue in our district, like it is on the Upper East Side?
The
Sinkholes along the
sinkholes
East
on the-
River, those little green spaces.
I think that's up in
I
Community
know,
District
I know,
Gates.
I know in Upper East Side is a
Yeah.
huge
Yeah.
issue and they've been repairing, but I thought she mentioned that, so I just wondered if that is an issue in our district at all.
I don't,
Not that I
I've
know
never heard anything
of.
about sinkholes, yeah, okay.
Yeah,
It's comforting to know.
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, it doesn't mean it can't happen, but yeah, well, they have it, I've not heard anything about it.
No, not that I know. I mean, I know there are some things, like I said, there are parts with the pier that could be, I
Yeah,
guess,
so
like-
because they have that pier in eight goes all the way north, right? So that
Right.
pier goes all the way up into Harlem. Yeah,
But no, but I think they're like, where we are near the ferry,
Yeah.
remember where the workout equipment is?
yeah.
I do think some of that is sinking, some of the, like, there's.
I thought they were gonna renovate that, put new pilings in because.
Yeah.
it
Yeah, because-
Eroded under.
Well, that's a
Yeah.
big, yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, so that's erosion, not really the.
Yeah, because
Okay.
Sheena at some point had said that they were.
Yeah,
doing that,
Something
yeah.
about it.
Yeah, it's just, that's a major undertaking
Yeah,
as well. I mean, that was an interesting presentation. You see what actually goes into doing this, you know. But yeah, I don't know about, I haven't heard anything
That's
about
good to know, as I
that.
said.
Mhm.
Anything else? Okay. Well, I think that's it. Meeting, I don't think we need a motion to end.
I think, we don't usually do motion to adjourn.
Yeah,
Yeah.
do a motion to adjourn, but you don't need a second.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Motion to adjourn.
There you go.
Thank you.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Have a nice summer, everyone.
And we
You as
close
well.
meeting at.
Oh, yes, time for the
7:42.
meeting.
7:32.
Have a good night.
Good night.
Have a good
night, all.
Good night.
Anton, this